Yo, what is going on, Guardians, and welcome back to another Destiny gameplay video. Hey, in this video I wanted to address the question of whether or not a few particular hot button weapons are overpowered, including the Icebreaker, Sidearms, and Fusion Grenades. Now, first and foremost, I do apologize if I sound raspy. My daughter came home from daycare. Yeah, my wife doesn't go to daycare, actually. My daughter came home from daycare. She brought a cold with her, and she was kind enough to share it with me. So I'm rocking that rasp. Hope that's okay. Now, I know it's literally impossible to talk about such things on YouTube without people getting upset, as if your opinion just insulted their grandmother. But let's try to keep this discussion civil, the discussion that happens below in the comments. And I would also encourage you to hold your comments until the end of the video so that you have a firm grasp on my position before firing away. First, let's establish some groundwork just to set the stage and build on. I know that Trials isn't the only playlist in the game, but the thing about Trials is that the quote meta is it's always more pronounced there just by the very nature of the elimination style gaming. When every death is a big deal, people tend to gravitate towards the best things in the game. Lately, the numbers have been staggering and show a very clear and defined niche group of weapons and abilities that prove to be the most lethal over and over again. Just this past weekend, 7 out of the top 10 weapons in the Trials playlist were some type of special ammo bypassing firearm. That means that only 3 out of the top 10 weapons used in the Crucible this weekend in Trials were standard primary weapons, just 3 of them. All the rest were things like Icebreaker, Wormwood, Iron Wreath, No Land Beyond, Universal Remote, etc. Another interesting statistic showed that abilities, grenades, melees, and supers, accounted for more kills this weekend than firearms did in a shooting game. Grenades were definitively on top, and the sticky variety were the most used of those. So the question is, what do we conclude from this? Are sidearms and icebreakers and sticky grenades all broken? Do we need another update to nerf these things and bring them down a notch or two in terms of their overall lethality to restore balance in the Crucible and generate more variety in terms of the weapons and abilities used? Let me tell you my basic answer to that up front, and then I'll explain my position in detail. I say no. I think it's the response of the untrained eye when looking at these numbers to jump to the nerfing stage. But these numbers can be mildly deceiving, and they require some critical thought before arriving at the decision to decrease the effectiveness of the top dogs. Let me explain it in this way. Consider the game rock, paper, scissors. It's a game where each option is equally effective and equally ineffective based not only on your choice, but the choice of your opponent. Each option consistently beats another and is simultaneously consistently beaten by another. If in the game rock, paper, scissors, the powers that be would take paper off the table, you would be left with just 2 options, rock and scissors. Here's what would happen. The usage of rock would skyrocket because the thing that counters it is no longer on the table. It's no longer in play. Meanwhile, the use of scissors would plummet because there are more rocks out there to beat it. You end up with a bunch of people running around with rocks. While rock didn't change at all, it didn't become more powerful, the thing is its counter was taken off the table. So Crucible is very similar in the sense that each special weapon has a counter. At range, a sniper beats a shotgun. Up close, a shotgun beats a sniper. So does a fusion rifle. But sidearms are generally taken down by people using shotguns and fusions. But the recent changes to ammo economy, shotguns and fusion rifles have essentially been taken off the table, just like paper in the analogy. So in the elimination playlist, 90% of people are selecting Icebreaker and Sidearms. They choose Sidearms because up close, the things that typically shut down Sidearms are no longer in play. They choose Icebreaker because at range, they can safely get picks on players who prefer to use other sniper rifles, but can't have them in play until well into the round. And the thing is, in the Trials of Osiris, most rounds are decided in some capacity before special ammo spawns on the map. The round is either over, or one team has already lost a player or 2 by that point. There are exceptions, but the overwhelming majority of rounds have already moved towards completion before one has the chance to get fusion rifle, shotgun outside of Universal Remote, or sniper ammo outside of Icebreaker. The same principle applies to sticky grenades. Usually you're up close when chucking these things. Shotgun warriors and fusion rifles often trade with or beat sticky grenade tossers up close, but those things aren't in play, so it's safer to move in, take a few shots from your opponent's primary weapon while you toss the grenade, stick them, and move into cover. It's not so much that they're grossly overpowered, it's that we've taken too many things off the table. So what is the correct response to the problem? We have little diversity right now, arguably the least amount of variety in the Crucible that we've ever had in the history of the game. So how do you restore that balance? My position is that you have to put the other special weapons back on the table. You have to put them back in play. We are very clearly still in a special meta. I think Destiny 1 will always be that way. Removing special didn't change that. In fact, it actually decreased overall primary weapon usage over time. Now people have run to the weapons that are consistently lethal, and 7 out of the top 10 are special weapons that bypass the ammo changes. It's clear we can't force a primary meta in Destiny. The best option is to restore special ammo and then maybe consider some more thoughtful buffs to primary weapons. They absolutely have to be meticulous. Blanket nerfs and buffs don't work in a game like this very often. 2 shotguns were ruling the Crucible, for example, and so the response was to nerf all of them. Problem with that is that the overwhelming majority of shotguns were very well balanced, but because Matador and Party Crasher ruled the Crucible, Swordbreaker became even weaker than it already was, as well as the Proud Spire. When you blanket nerf special ammo, it just made people run to ammo bypassing weapons, and then those rule. Unfortunately, I don't think we'll see that level of meticulous tuning in Destiny 1, as most of Bungie is probably focused on Destiny 2 at this point, and that's honestly okay. But the best thing would be for them to do a minimalistic change and restore the special ammo in some capacity in the Crucible, or at least in the Trials of Osiris and Elimination playlists, to encourage variety. I hope this has made sense, and I appreciate you listening and viewing. Please let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. I do read all the comments, but sometimes it's hard to respond to them all, but I do read them. Please try to be as respectful of each other's opinions as you can be, and I am talking to myself there too. Here's to the future of Destiny that we help forge together, and I'll catch you in the Crucible.